Live from the news station, this is 7 News at 6.
And next at 6, a domestic dispute at an upstate home ends with a woman in the hospital and a man dead. Straight ahead reaction from a neighbor.
Plus, after weeks of silence, the threat of dangerous clowns has resurfaced in the upstate. This time, 2 area school districts are mentioned. Those stories in a minute, but first.
There are a lot of people hurting right now in this region.
Hurricane Matthew is a memory tonight, but it's left behind a trail of storm damage and is now blamed for at least 23 deaths, the disappearance of 3 other people, all in the southeast.
And 10 of those are in North Carolina. This is Air 7 video from Lumberton, one of the areas where dangerous floodwaters have yet to recede. Emergency safety officials say nearly 800 prisoners had to evacuate a correctional facility in Goldsboro due to the rising floodwater. And tonight, Duke Energy is still reporting a little more than 300,000 outages across North Carolina. Now take a look. This is the aftermath along South Carolina's coast. Widespread damage is there to homes, and several roads are washed out around Murrells Inlet, Surfside Beach, and Georgetown County. Duke Energy says about 122,000 customers still are without power tonight. Of course, there's extreme flooding in Nichols, South Carolina, which forced 150 people to seek some shelter in the 3rd floor of the town hall, where they were rescued this afternoon.
And in Georgia, people in the Savannah area are being allowed onto Highway 80, which connects Tybee Island to the mainland. Business and homeowners are nervous as they return to assess the damage. Cindy Sue has owned Surf Song Bed and Breakfast for 3 years. She said she left Tybee Island on Wednesday.
We are blessed. God was looking out for us. Considering the amount of wind and rain we had, the house held firm. But, you know, it was built by the Army Corps of Engineers, so this is an officer's house from the Spanish-American War.
Wow.
But not everyone was as fortunate. In Florida, the governor toured a 1-mile section of State Road A1A that collapsed into the ocean. President Barack Obama has promised federal resources to all the states affected.
Governor Nikki Haley gave us an update this afternoon on the damage and the recovery in South Carolina. She
flew over Florence and Marion counties today and said the flooding there is devastating. Robert Kittle joins us now. He's live from the Emergency Operations Center, where the state is keeping up with the needs the counties have. So, Robert, what's the latest you're hearing there?
Well, Tom, with that major flooding in the PD, the Department of Natural Resources says that's going to get even worse because some of the rivers there have not even crested yet. We've also had 7 dams fail statewide and 2 more that are at risk for failure. So the state is on those scenes and doing sandbagging to try to shore up those dams. Even though all the county evacuation orders have been lifted, there are 4 islands that are still not accessible, including Hilton Head and Fripp Islands. Statewide, there are 361 roads and 29 bridges that are closed. Most places are starting the recovery process, but the concern in the PD is that the flooding will get worse and people are still having to be rescued there.
The town of Nichols, if you may have heard, we had 150 people in town hall on the 3rd floor waiting for help and evacuation, and so we've had fantastic crews from DNR and our law enforcement as well as National Guard who have really gone in there, and they've just been doing rescues all day and will continue to do that.
The State Law Enforcement Division is patrolling those rivers day and night to watch for looters and also to see if there's anyone else who needs rescuing. Governor Haley is urging people around the state who want to help to donate to the 1SC Fund. That's the fund that she started last year after the record flooding we had, and that fund has already helped and given about $2 million to homeowners across the state who were not able to rebuild, is to help them do that. And they say money is better than donating supplies like building supplies or food or water, because those things have to be warehoused and transported. And the governor said we are dealing with challenges, but they are getting better every day. Live in Columbia, Robert Kittle, 7 News.
All right, Robert, thank you. Still a lot of work to be done to get things back to normal. As for the Western Carolinas, we had a cool start this morning, but things warmed up quickly.
Let's head over to Storm Team 7 meteorologist Jason Nappy to see how tonight and tomorrow shape up.
Even colder coming our way. Right now in the 60s, 70s, popping up on the map as we're seeing a very close to sunset now. Northeast Georgia got up close to 80 today. Right now it's 72 in Greenville and 76 in Clemson. It is going to cool off in a big way as we get through just past sunset tonight. Here's a look at live Doppler. That's clear. Certainly no threat of any rain, as you see. Hardly any clouds today. 72 now and sunny. By 9, 57. By 7, 47. 47 degrees tomorrow morning. Another cold one. And by 4, we'll be getting close to 70 in the afternoon. I'll be tracking the warm-up later the week, but first, a big chill coming our way in the forecast next.
And we've all got to pray at this time that everything goes good.
Tonight, an Anderson community is praying for a neighbor's recovery after police say her boyfriend shot her and then turned the gun on himself.
Belton police believe it was an attempted murder-suicide. 7 News reporter Christine Brown is in Anderson County. She has been following this story for you all day.
And Christine, we understand you did have a chance to speak with the neighbors. What are they saying about all of this?
When I talked to the neighbors today, they say they thought that this home and the people that lived inside of it were mostly peaceful. They say they're surprised to hear that this couple's relationship ended the way it did in violence.
Basically a very quiet street and no problems, and certainly nothing from over there. So yeah, it's a surprise for everybody.
Some neighbors on Oak Drive were startled awake by several gunshots Monday morning, others by the sound of sirens.
Really didn't know what was going on. By the time we got some light, there was, 12 vehicles or so in the street.
Belton police say around 5:30 a.m. they showed up at this home to a man telling them his daughter was shot. They found 47-year-old Gene Caesar and 39-year-old Takeshia Jamison in a locked bedroom.
The public's not in danger. We have all the people that we are looking for. We're just sorting through the statements and evaluating the scene.
Investigators say Caesar was dead by a self-inflicted gunshot wound when they arrived on scene. Jamison was rushed to the hospital with multiple gunshot wounds.
And just very nice people.
Neighbors say Jamison has lived here for years as a hard-working mom. They say she and Caesar hadn't been dating long, and they never saw any problems between them before.
It's fairly close neighbors, it was really nice to have that type of people living across the road from you.
And now they're all praying that she recovers so they can see their neighbor again soon.
It would be a disaster, terrible. Got a 15-year-old that needs a mum.
Belton police do believe this was a domestic situation. They say Jamison and Caesar were dating and they had been called here once before. Now we've heard the latest on Jamison. She still remains in the hospital tonight and she's still being treated for her gunshot wounds, which police believe are serious injuries. We're live in Belton. I'm Christine Brown, 7 News.
Christine, thank you. Investigators say right now no charges are pending in this case, but the attempted murder-suicide remains under investigation by the Belton Police Department.
Well, it's been 20 years since an upstate police officer died after being pulled out of a burning patrol car. He crashed trying to stop the driver of a speeding vehicle. That driver has never been identified or charged. Today, the Fountain Inn Police Department honored Sergeant Carlton Patrick Pope with this memorial plaque. When he died, Officer Pope left behind a wife and a 5-year-old son. His son, now 25, spoke about the pain of losing his father so young.
It never really hit me emotionally until I was a little bit older in age, when I understood what I was missing when I was growing up, not having a father do normal father things, growing up through life. It got more difficult as time went on.
The Fountain Inn police chief says detectives believe they know who was involved in the chase that led to Pope's death, but they need more information to bring an indictment. Anyone with information is being urged to come forward.
Well, in Greenville County, deputies are trying to find out who's responsible for a shooting that's left a man in critical condition. Investigators say the man was found lying in a parking lot with at least 1 gunshot wound. Deputies say it happened at Boulder Creek Apartments on Furman Hall Road. Investigators have not identified the victim or said if he lived at the apartment complex. Deputies urge witnesses to come forward. There are new concerns over clowns in the upstate after someone posted a message on social media threatening to kill students and residents in Spartanburg County.
7 News reporter Dave Jordan is live in Spartanburg County right now with details on this. And Dave, the schools are mentioned in this, and so as you know, we heard from so many parents about this disturbing post.
Parents and viewers, Amy, a lot of people on heightened alert tonight. The message was posted on Instagram over the weekend. The person identifying him or herself as Bill the Clown, threatening to kill students at Dorman and Spartanburg High's football game, which is scheduled for this Friday. Now, you may recall we had a lot of clown sightings in the last couple of weeks. They first originated in Greenville and went all over the country. Now, this story is different because this is the first case of a clown threatening harm. Now, this was mentioned in this little manifesto of sorts that he or she was going to carry out these threats during the upcoming football game at Dorman High this Friday. Administrators there told me that they are taking this very seriously.
We've added extra security. We've included law enforcement and involved them every step along the way to make sure that we take every precaution.
And the Instagram posting also mentioned possible attacks during the week of Halloween. We spoke with investigators here at Spartanburg County Sheriff's Office. They haven't said anything publicly about this because they said it's too close to the investigation. We are live outside of the Spartanburg County Sheriff's Office. Dave Jordan, 7 News.
Dave, thank you. Next on 7 News at 6, it was hot, it was heated, and the candidates held nothing back. Reaction from the presidential hopefuls after a tense second debate last night and what a new poll shows. Plus, Republican Vice Presidential hopeful Mike Pence is on the campaign trail today in North Carolina. First today, a stop in Charlotte. We'll tell you where he's visiting tonight.